Okay, we're just gonna go the rounds again here. I think.
But you never validated my position, the
And you're
position
not
that
listening
I was forced
to me
into by this
either.
experience.
Anyway.
I am listening to you, Janelle, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to lay it
No, I'm just.
on an idea that I didn't want to be around you, and that's not true at all.
I just asked you if you still want to live for a marriage, because I'm not sure.
You did the same exact thing to me.
Welcome back to Celebrity. It's Olivia here. No father should turn his son's death into a headline. But that's exactly what Kody Brown just did. In a move that's left fans reeling, TLC has confirmed that the tragic passing of Garrison Brown, Janelle and Kody's son, will officially become part of the upcoming Sister Wives storyline. Before we peel back the layers of this wild unraveling, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. If you love deep dives with no fluff, just facts, receipts, and a sprinkle of chaos, you're in the right place. And trust me, you won't believe how this one plays out. Yes, you heard that right. A young man who spent the final years of his life estranged from his father, angry at the show and begging to be heard, will now become a plot point in a series that contributed to the very pain he carried. And the most gut-wrenching part? Garrison didn't want this. In his final messages, he referenced the show, the pressure, the producers, the isolation. He wanted out. And now, they're putting him right back in. TLC released a press statement with the kind of cold precision only a network can master. Moments of reflection, honoring his memory. The family comes together to commemorate his life. Sounds respectful, right? Except here's the truth. Kody wasn't there when Garrison died. He wasn't at the scene. He hadn't spoken to his son in years. And now he's honoring him? The fans see through it. The siblings feel it. And for many, this marks the moment where Sister Wives stops being a show and becomes a betrayal. And it only gets worse. For over a decade, Sister Wives sold a fantasy, a quirky, unconventional family navigating polygamy in modern America. Drama, sure, tension, always. But there was a line they never crossed, until now. And that line was truth. Because behind the playful edits and upbeat music, something much darker was brewing. The cracks in the Brown family weren't just about marital jealousy or financial strain. It was emotional damage, fragmented parent-child relationships, unseen trauma, especially for the kids. And for Garrison Brown, that truth was unbearable. He wasn't just another sibling in the background. He was vocal, smart, and increasingly angry, not just at Kody, but at the machine surrounding him, the one that kept rolling even when he begged to be heard. When the cameras kept filming through breakdowns, estrangements, and private battles that should have never become entertainment. What TLC didn't show? The verbal abuse Garrison reportedly endured off-camera. The pressure to perform for a father who, as Christine and Janelle have both admitted, emotionally checked out. The booze, the anxiety, the slow unraveling of a young man who was never built for the spotlight his family dragged him into. And now, instead of honoring his legacy with dignity, they're writing it into the script. That's not a tribute. That's a cover-up. A way to wrap up years of neglect with soft lighting and sad music. A way for Kody to say, I miss my son on screen while never facing the truth of how deep the damage went. Because in the world of reality TV, nothing is sacred. Not even a son's final breath. You'd think a father grieving the loss of his son would speak with humility, regret, maybe even a whisper of accountability. But when Kody Brown finally addressed Garrison's death, it wasn't heartbreak. It wasn't grief, it was spin. In a brief, tightly controlled statement, Kody thanked fans for their support. He called Garrison a bright light. He said the family was processing this together. But he never said he was sorry, never acknowledged the estrangement, never took 1 ounce of blame. Instead, Kody used the moment to reframe the narrative, painting himself as a father frozen out by circumstances beyond his control, as if he wasn't the one who cut ties. As if Garrison hadn't spent his final months posting cryptic, heartbreaking messages online, many of which pointed directly back to the emotional isolation he felt. And the fans? They weren't having it. Social media erupted. Longtime viewers who once sympathized with Kody called him out for his crocodile tears. Siblings of Garrison, Gabriel, Gwendolyn, Peden, began subtly and not so subtly, sharing truths that made Kody's version fall apart. He wasn't there. He hadn't been there. And now he was using Garrison's death to polish his image. It was that moment, those carefully curated words, that snapped something in the fan base. This wasn't a father honoring his son. This was a man in damage control, clutching at a legacy slipping through his fingers. And it begs the question, if Kody's grieving process is just another scene in a storyline, What does that say about the man behind the camera? They were raised in front of the cameras, coached on confessionals, told to smile when it hurt and cry when it would rate. But Garrison's death, that was the breaking point, because now the Brown kids aren't staying silent, and for the first time, they're turning their backs. Not just on Kody, but on the show that made them famous. It started subtly. Gwendolyn Brown, never one to sugarcoat anything, made a cryptic TikTok video days after the network's announcement. No names, no direct call-out, but the message was razor sharp. Don't use grief to build a storyline. Fans knew exactly who it was for.
Gabriel, who had been closest to Garrison, reportedly refused to film anything related to his brother's passing. Sources say he skipped scheduled interviews, ignored producers' calls, and told friends, "If they use him for ratings, I'm out." Even Payton, long known for his chaotic honesty, took to social media and dropped a quiet bomb. Some of us knew this was coming, others still want to pretend they didn't cause it. One line, that's all it took. Suddenly the illusion cracked. These weren't just kids grieving a brother, they were kids calling out an empire, one that wrapped dysfunction in a neat episode arc and called it family television. One that edited out Kody's absence, his indifference, his favoritism. And now when the cameras roll on a funeral, they're done pretending. And TLC? They're scrambling. Because if the Brown children walk, if they refuse to let Garrison's story be told the way the network wants, it doesn't just derail a season, it exposes everything. For over a decade, Sister Wives was TLC's golden goose, an addictive mix of drama, dysfunction, and just enough sugarcoating to keep it family-friendly. But now, the shine is gone, and behind the curtain, the cracks are too deep to hide. With Garrison's passing, the stakes changed. This isn't just a TV show anymore, it's a mirror. A cold, unflinching reflection of what happens when you turn real-life pain into a storyline and keep the cameras rolling while a family falls apart. Fans aren't distracted by editing tricks anymore. They've seen too much, heard too much. The siblings are speaking out, the timelines aren't matching up, and TLC can't cut around the grief that feels exploited and the father figure who feels hollow. And here's what's coming next. The audience is turning. More viewers than ever are walking away. Social media is flooded with one brutal question. How could they air this? How could they take a young man's death, one steeped in estrangement, silence, and mental health struggles, and repackage it for ratings? And what happens when those viewers stop watching? TLC's empire starts to shake. The ratings fall. The advertisers vanish. And Kody? He's left standing in the ruins of a family he was too proud to save, too blind to lead, and too late to mourn. Because when the camera becomes a weapon, the audience becomes the judge. And now, the verdict's coming. So here's the final question. One fans, critics, and even the Browns themselves are starting to ask, was it ever about family, or was it always about control? Let that sink in. If you want this repackaged as a full YouTube narration script, with pacing cues and visual storytelling beats, or adapted for short-form social content, I've got your back. Just say the word.